बिस्मिल्लाहिर्रहमानिर्रहीम। अस्सलाम वालेकुम। प्रोग्राम न्यूज़ वॉच में नाज़रीन आपको खुशामदीद कहते हैं। आज की अहम तरीन खबर तो ये है कि भारत के शहर मुंबई में धमाके हुए हैं, 3 धमाके हुए हैं, जिसमें इत्तलात के मुताबिक 6 अफराद हलाक हो गए हैं और 200 से ज़ायद अफराद इसमें ज़ख्मी हुए हैं। लेकिन इसके साथ साथ पाकिस्तान, अफगानिस्तान और अमरीका के दरमियान जो इस वक्त एक सिलसिला जारी है, अफगानिस्तान से ऐलान हो चुका है कि अमरीकी अफवाज का इनखला शुरू होगा जुलाई से, और 2014 एक टारगेट सेट किया गया है अफगानिस्तान के लिए भी कि वहां पर यानी 2014 तक अफगान सिक्योरिटी फोर्सेस के हवाले वहां पर हालात कर दिए जाएंगे। अमन व अमान की जो जिम्मेदारियां हैं वो उन्हें दे दी जाएंगी। क्या ये 2014 तक ये मामला हो सकेगा? इसके साथ साथ पाकिस्तान और अफगानिस्तान के दरमियान जो एक जॉइंट कमीशन बना हुआ है उसका क्या फायदा हो सकता है, और अभी तक उसकी वर्किंग से क्या दोनों अतराफ मुतमईन हैं? और इसके साथ साथ अफगानिस्तान के अंदर जो पाकिस्तान, जिस तरह से पाकिस्तान अपने तहफ़्फ़ुज़ात का इजहार करता है कि वहां पर एंटी पाकिस्तान जो क़ुव्वतें हैं उनको इजाज़त न दी जाए कि वो पाकिस्तान को वहां से गैर मुस्तहकम करे। इन तमाम सवालों का जवाब हमने पाकिस्तान में अफगानिस्तान के सफ़ीर जनाब मोहम्मद उमर दाऊदज़ई से गुफ्तगू में किया। आइए आपको पहले उनकी ये गुफ्तगू दिखाते हैं। जनाब मोहम्मद उमर दाऊदज़ई साहब, आपको खुशामदीद कहते हैं अपने प्रोग्राम में।
Thank you very much and assalamu alaikum to your viewers.
Walaikum assalam. Dauzai Sahab, you have got a very strong position in Mr. Karzai's establishment, and you have great influence as you have been the chief of staff of Mr. Hamid Karzai as well. How can you use your position for the betterment of the bilateral relations between Pakistan and Afghanistan?
Thank you very much. Because of my position in President Karzai's government for 7 years, and also because of my previous stay in Pakistan, when I arrived here, I didn't need orientation period. I didn't need a learning period. Yeah. I started my job immediately because I knew people and I knew the country. And as time moves, I realize that how useful that past has been for me in pursuing the strengthening of our relationship with Pakistan. Equally so, because I have been a senior official in the Afghan government, and that gives me certain clout there, certain leverage there. And on that side also, it helps me to bring the two countries closer to each other and to further strengthen our relationship, to further deepen our relationship, and to widen our relationship.
That's right. What about this new Pakistan and Afghanistan Joint Peace Commission? Are you satisfied with this step, and are you satisfied with the working of this commission, and what is the mandate basically of this commission?
Last year in summer there was a peace Jirga, Peace Grand Council in Kabul.
Loya Jirga.
Yes. Loya Jirga, but yes, that was a specific Loya Jirga, right, for peace. And that Jirga mandated a commission to pursue reconciliation with opposition, with our opposition, namely Taliban and Hizb Islami. And soon after the Jirga, President Karzai appointed that 70-member council that's headed by Professor Rabbani. Professor Burhanuddin Rabbani, who yes, made a trip to Pakistan, and here he suggested a joint commission, and government of Pakistan reciprocated positively. Subsequently, on the 16th of April this year, when Prime Minister Gilani made that historic visit together with his military and intelligence heads to Kabul, and one of the suggestions in Kabul from Pakistani side was that in order to make the process of decision making in the commission smoother and timely, they suggested that the chairmanship of the commission should be elevated. From Pakistani side it should be the Prime Minister, and from Afghanistan it should be the President. And then Afghanistan obviously accepted that, and both sides agreed on the composition of membership of the council. And the last visit of President Karzai here we witnessed the first ever meeting of that Joint Commission. Subsequently, 10 days ago, we had on the 29th of June, we had the senior officials meeting of the Commission, because one is the leadership, and then the other layer is the senior officials that are headed by foreign secretaries. We had that meeting in Kabul. So far, my assessment of that process is that it's moving in accordance to our expectations. It may be moving a bit slower than we thought, but maybe the nature of this work is that we have to be patient, and we have to move in a calculated and in a well-thought manner. So far it's so good, but it's too early because it's just the beginning.
How much it is important that the both countries should work together, because we are neighbors as well, and our interests are almost same. So how much it is important that we should address each other's concerns very positively, so that we could move smoothly?
In the past many decades, we have experienced and experimented different kinds of relationship between our two. And the lessons we have always learned is that there is only one way for us to coexist. That's to live as brothers, as friends, because we are created like that by Allah. And we have to listen to that, and we have to live as brothers. We have to be, as we are dependent on each other, we have to be accommodating each other's concerns, each other's worries, each other's ambitions also. We all have economic ambitions, social ambitions, and that's the process we have begun. Not only with my arrival 2 months ago, rather we began that with the inception of this current government back in 2008, when President Karzai was the only foreign head of state that participated in the inauguration of President Zardari. That was the beginning of this new chapter. And I think we are moving quite well, well calculated, well thought. But so far, I must say, relationship is personality dependent.
Right.
There is a good team on that side, and there is a good team on this side. I think that's good, but that's not enough.
Right.
We need to go deeper and institutionalize our friendship and our partnership, so that with political changes, because in both countries there is democratic system, nobody can reverse us back. As we experimented in the past.
Right. Okay. Mr. Umar Dawodzai साहब, we'll take a short break in this discussion. एक मुख्तसर सी ब्रेक लेते हैं. अफगानिस्तान के सफ़ीर जो पाकिस्तान में हैं, मोहम्मद उमर दाऊदज़ई साहब, उनका कहना है कि शख्सियात जो ताल्लुकात हैं वो शख्सियात की बुनियाद पे नहीं होने चाहिए, इदारों के ताल्लुकात होने चाहिए, इंस्टीट्यूशंस के ताल्लुकात होने चाहिए, ताकि जिस प्रोसेस को, जिस तरीक़ाकार को जारी रखा जाए वो हमेशा जारी रखा जाए. एक ब्रेक लेते हैं और ब्रेक के बाद गुफ्तगू का सिलसिला जारी रखते हैं. प्रोग्राम न्यूज़ वॉच में नाज़रीन एक बार फिर आपको खुशामदीद कहते हैं. हमारे साथ मौजूद हैं पाकिस्तान में अफगानिस्तान के सफ़ीर मोहतरम मोहम्मद उमर दाऊदज़ई साहब. Mr. Daoudzai, recently we have had a few incidents of infiltration from Afghanistan, and Pakistan has protested against that. What Afghanistan is doing to stop this kind of infiltration, and do you think these infiltrators are the real enemies of the peace process, or the enemies of the friendship between the two countries?
Recently, there's been complaints from both sides. The Pakistani side complains that there is infiltration in Kunar from the other side. And they claim that these are the insurgents that have regrouped there, and they have infiltrated to Pakistan and attacked security forces and villages, and has caused the loss of life. Equally so, the Afghan side complains that there are shelling from the Pakistani side to the Afghan side, and there has been damage to property and lives. And one estimate, I hope that's exaggerated, is that the loss of life on the other side, on the Afghan side, is close to 100. Now, I think the most important thing is that we should stop both of these. We should stop infiltration, do whatever we can immediately to stop infiltration and stop shelling. Maybe stopping of the shelling is easier than stopping of infiltration, because that requires more strategic measures, while stopping of shelling is a change of tactic. And that's what we are requesting for the past 10 days at various levels. And fortunately, we have been promised that these will stop, but it hasn't completely stopped. And this morning, I have a report that 15 shells landed on the Afghan side. And that's obviously causing worries and reaction on the other side. Now, the root cause is that both sides have squeezed their enemy to that one particular area. Right. And the enemy has now adjusted its operations in such a manner that it is planning to cause misunderstanding between the two armies and their security forces along the border. I think they are wrong. They will fail to cause misunderstanding, because the level of understanding between our two countries is at a level that these kind of incidents we can manage and we can talk to each other. Only 2-3 days ago, there was a military delegation in Peshawar, and we have talked at various levels. Right. Now, I'm confident that very soon that tension will be over, that problem will be over. But my immediate request is to stop the shelling, because that is causing problem, and that's just a change of tactic, which we should do it.
Okay, Mr. Dawodzai, if we talk about the recently done Pak-Afghan transit trade, both sides' business communities have shown their some reservations on the treaty. How can this treaty be best used for the both sides of business communities? How can it be best used for the communities, particularly the business communities?
I'm not aware of any reservation about the treaty per se on the Afghan side, and I'm not aware of any reservation on Pakistani side. I think both sides are happy with the treaty, but there has been problems on its implementation. And I hope these problems are technical, as I hear, like adjusting softwares, providing the right kind of logistic mechanism, etc. So I'm hoping that they will overcome soon those technical hiccups, and so that the flow of goods began, or rather go to its normal pace. And once we call this APTA 1.
Right. Yes.
Once we have done this properly, then we go to APTA 2, right, which is beyond Afghanistan. Right. That Pakistani goods will smoothly flow into Central Asia and other countries. But unless we do the APTA 1 properly, how can we move to APTA 2?
Okay, Mr. Dawodzai, if now we talk about the reconciliation process of with Taliban in Afghanistan, what kind of reconciliation you have been looking for with Taliban, and Afghan government is on board? I mean, U.S. talks with the Taliban.
The reconciliation process is Afghan reconciliation process. Yes. And luckily, the government of Pakistan's position is also clear. They say reconciliation should be Afghan-led, Afghan-owned, yes, and Afghans should be telling us what to do. We like that statement, and we are working on it. I'm referring to earlier the Joint Commission yes, context. Yes. As far as the U.S. is concerned, they also say the same. They also say that reconciliation should be Afghan-led, Afghan-owned. Now, if there were some contacts with non-Afghan players, non-Afghan stakeholders, these has been discussed with the Afghan government. Afghan government has always been aware of it, and the outcome has always been shared with the Afghan government. From Afghan side, the whole mandate for reconciliation rests with the Peace Council. Right. And we hear in their briefings from the Peace Council that things are moving well and they are at contact stage. Okay. They have established very good contacts and they're working on those contacts. And they also are satisfied with the level of cooperation they're receiving from partner countries within the region and internationally.
And the contacts they have made so far with the people, they're credible people?
They claim that they are credible level of people.
And what about this 2014, the target which has been set for the withdrawal of foreign troops? Do you think it's a realistic target?
We think it's realistic and we will make it realistic. Right. Because I do hear from many circles that or if foreign troops leave Afghanistan, how would it survive within a neighborhood, and internally they might go to civil war. These are all wrong. I think Afghans were living before foreign troops came into their side. They were living in peace and they were surviving as a nation. The first foreign troops came to Afghanistan was the Soviet Union. They disrupted the normal life in Afghanistan. And then it continued, and we hope that will end in 2014. Or rather, we have decided to end it by 2014. And we Afghans believe that as our forefathers, they have learned independent from the rest of the world, but they were cooperating, they were living with the world, but they were not depending on international forces. So why should we be dependent? But this doesn't mean that we are not looking for partnership arrangements beyond 2014. We want the current way of their presence to end. And when I say the current end, that means they live in our daily lives. And that's very much against Afghan traditions and culture. So that has to end. But then after 2014, we want to have enduring partnership with the United States. We want to have enduring partnership with our neighbors, particularly Pakistan. And that's why we have begun the new chapter in our relationship. So we are confident that by 2014, inshallah, this current saga that began in 1979, December 1979, will come to an end.
To an end. Okay, Mr. Daudzai, we'll take another short break. एक break लेते हैं और उसके बाद अफगान सफीर जनाब मोहम्मद उमर दाऊदज़ई से हमारी गुफ्तगू का सिलसिला जारी है. प्रोग्राम न्यूज़ वॉच में नाज़रीन एक बार फिर आपको खुशामदीद कहते हैं. पाकिस्तान में अफगानिस्तान के सफ़ीर जनाब मोहम्मद उमर दाऊदज़ई से हमारी गुफ्तगू का सिलसिला जारी है. मिस्टर दाऊदज़ई, पाकिस्तान हैज़ many times Pakistan has shown its reservation about the anti-Pakistani influence in Afghanistan, particularly Indian influence. I mean, this is the time where Afghanistan needs to be stabilized, needs to be strengthened, and Pakistan needs to be stabilized. So how Afghanistan government is working on those concerns?
This is a very good question and very important. I refer to that earlier statement I made that as we have firmly, from the bottom of our hearts, decided to strengthen our relationship. And if that's the desire, then we need to understand each other's concerns. And we need to overcome those concerns. Then we can have a really strengthened, brotherly, friendly relationship. And one of the concerns, although I have not heard it officially from government of Pakistan, but I do hear it around that there is a anti-Pakistani influence, anti-Pakistani feeling in Afghanistan that's influenced by India. I would say that it's not entirely influenced by India. I think it's more referring to the past 10 years or past 20 to 30 years. There may be remnants of the communist regime of the past in Afghanistan. Those obviously they live in Afghanistan, and some of them are even back to the system, back in government. they have, some of them carry anti-Pakistani feelings because they think that Pakistan supported Mujahideen to get rid of them.
Right.
And it is true.
Right.
We Mujahideen are proud of that. That was great, but
Exactly.
Pakistan fulfilled its responsibility.
Yeah, that
but
was
I do not expect a communist to feel like that.
That was the right policy of that
That
time.
was the right policy at
Right.
that time. Later on, after the collapse of Najibullah's regime, and when the inter-Mujahideen fighting started, some Mujahideen groups in that fight was supported by Pakistan, some was supported by other countries in the region. Obviously, some of those who were not supported by Pakistan, whose opposite was supported by Pakistan, it's only natural that they may be carrying some anti-Pakistani feelings. Now, in regard to influence of India, that's a separate subject. I think that's a bit exaggerated in Pakistan. No. The anti-Pakistani feeling is not exaggerated. It's there. We have to work on it, and we have worked on it, and we have success on that. But there is some way ahead of us, and our Pakistani brothers and sisters would have to be patient on that with us, and would have to work with us so that we overcome those feelings. But in regard to specifically the quoted Indian influence, I think that's exaggerated. India has helped Afghanistan financially over the past 10 years. They have participated in Afghanistan reconstruction, but so has Pakistan. And but those reconstruction assistance doesn't carry much influence. If it does, then Japan must have a lot more influence than any other country. So I think that's exaggerated. And even the question of 14 consulates or 10 consulates, that's also exaggerated. Oh. There is 4 consulates that has always been there. Now, in regard to if some of those facilities are in some ways used against Pakistan, we have always asked for evidence. Right. Even if it's the slightest evidence, we assure you that we will take steps. Okay. We will curb it. The bottom line for us is that we do not and we will never allow anyone from our side to harm Pakistan. Right. No matter whether it's India or any other country that's present in whatever way in Afghanistan, we would never allow them to harm Pakistan or any other of our neighbors, right. but mainly Pakistan.
Okay, Mr. Daudzai, it's been 10 years almost that the foreign troops are in Afghanistan. In your point of view, as an Afghan national or as an ambassador, what were the fault lines of this policy? I mean, 10 years they have been there. What were the faults they have committed, in your point of view? Right. I mean, US and NATO.
The international forces.
Yeah, the international forces, right. The ISAF.
Right. Fault lines are many, but I would focus on the most important and the key one. One of the key fault lines was a lack of sufficient respect to Afghan culture. And as we go to history, whoever has done that has suffered. And the international forces has not been exception to that. Now, what do I mean by that? Afghans' premises are protected from any intrusion, not only by our constitution, which is the case. Our constitution does protect Afghan residential premises. Tradition also does that. In Afghan tradition, if somebody takes shelter in somebody else's house, they don't go after him to his house. Now, the international troops, for the first time, started intruding in the middle of the night in people's houses. And they disgraced men in front of women, elders in front of youngsters. They unleashed, in some cases, dogs to people's houses to search them, and many other activities of that sort you can think of. So that was their primary mistake, that they experimented a lack of respect to Afghan culture. The other big mistake they made was they went too much into people's routine life. that's also not welcomed in Afghan culture. Of course, after 9/11, when Afghanistan was in trouble, Afghans welcomed their presence, but they welcomed them to protect them from Taliban, from other insurgents and terrorists. But they didn't expect them to live in their daily life, in their routine lives. Second area, that's one area, that's mostly culture. The second area was governance. They, in many cases, tried to establish parallel government to the Afghan government. That, in a way, hindered the capacity building of the Afghan government. And in some ways, the trust of the people of Afghanistan over their government reduced because there was another parallel government sitting to them. Third area was spending their money themselves. Mostly, only recently, I think up to 20% of their finances are channeled through Afghan government. Earlier, it was only 5% of their assistance was channeled through the Afghan government. The rest was channeled through their own companies and NGOs. And it's those NGOs and companies that were the primary culprit of corruption, but they blame the Afghan government for corruption. Right. And again, that brought their respect down within the Afghan society. So the list is longer, but I think the biggest mistake was lack of respect to Afghan culture, parallel government, and careless in causing civilian casualties.
Thank you very much, Mr.
Most welcome. Most welcome.
प्रोग्राम न्यूज़ वॉच में नाज़रीन एक बार फिर आपको खुशामदीद कहते हैं। अफगान सफ़ीर मोहम्मद उमर दाऊदज़ई का इंटरव्यू आपने देखा और इसी पर तबसरा करने के लिए आज हमें स्टूडियोज़ में ज्वाइन किया है दुनिया न्यूज़ की डायरेक्टर करंट अफेयर्स मोहतरमा नसीम ज़हरा साहिबा ने। बहुत शुक्रिया नसीम ज़हरा साहिबा। पाकिस्तान अफगानिस्तान में जो हम देख रहे थे पिछले दिनों एक तनाव लग रहा था, तो इसका मतलब है कि ये एक जेन्युइन तनाव था?
मेरा ख्याल है तनाव इतना जेन्युइन शायद नहीं था। यकीनन मसले मसाइल हैं, आप देख रहे हैं क्रॉस बॉर्डर पर अफ़गानिस्तान ने हमें कुछ कहा, हमने शिकायत की, लेकिन जो अहम चीज़ है वो ये है कि इस वक्त दोनों मुल्क समझते हैं कि उनको जेन्युइन कोऑपरेशन इज़ अ विन विन गेम। दोनों को मालूम है कि दोनों के लिए पीस और जो अमन और चैन है वो बड़ा लाजमी है। तो मेरा ख्याल है अगर कोई दो मुल्क हैं जिनके सिमिलर ऑब्जेक्टिव्स हैं इस वक्त, तो जावेद वो पाकिस्तान और अफगानिस्तान है। और आपने इंटरव्यू आपका बड़ा अच्छा था जिसमें ये जो सफ़ीर हैं उन्होंने बड़ी खुल के बात की और उन्होंने मेरा ख्याल एक बड़ा पॉजिटिव टोन लेकर, और जैसे आपने कहा भी अपने इंटरव्यू में कि ही इज़ वेरी क्लोज टू प्रेसिडेंट कारज़ई, तो जब वो बात कर रहे हैं तो काबुल की जितनी भी इस्टेब्लिशमेंट है यानी कि कारज़ई एंड हिज मेन, तो उनकी जुबान बोल रहे हैं, तो क्लियर है कि वो चाहते हैं।
अच्छा, ये पहले जो एक ज़ूमानी किस्म की बातें होती थी, आपको लग रहा है कि अब भी ये हो रही हैं कि नहीं, अब वो थोड़ी उसमें कमी आई है?
वो ज़ूमानी बातें जनरल मुशर्रफ के दौर में बहुत होती थी, लड़ाई झगड़ा कभी कभार तो लगता था बच्चों की आपस में लड़ाई हो रही है। अमेरिका में जब जनरल मुशर्रफ और प्रेसिडेंट कारज़ई की मुलाकात हुई, जॉर्ज बुश के बैठे हुए, तो तकरीबन एक दूसरे से बात नहीं कर रहे थे। मेरा ख्याल है इस हुकूमत में चीज़ें बदली हैं और ख़ास तौर पे पिछले एक साल में हमने देखा कि पाकिस्तान की सियासी क़यादत और अस्करी क़यादत, जिसमें कि इंटेलिजेंस भी इन्वॉल्व है, सब के सब जो हैं इन्होंने एक जेन्युइन तरीके से अफ़गानिस्तान के साथ ताल्लुकात बेहतर करने की कोशिश की है और एग्जैक्टली वही अफ़गानिस्तान की तरफ से है। तो ये नहीं कि गुड कॉप बैड कॉप कोई खेल रहा है, ऑल ऑफ देम ऑन बोथ साइड्स आर गुड कॉप्स।
अच्छा नसीम ज़हरा साहब, आप एक तरफ सहफरीकी कमीशन है पाकिस्तान, अमेरिका और अफगानिस्तान का, दूसरी तरफ पाकिस्तान और अफगानिस्तान का भी एक जॉइंट कमीशन बना है। आपको लग रहा है कि अब जिस तरह से विड्रॉल की बातें हो रही हैं तो कुछ बेहतरी की तरफ मूव करना शुरू किया है मुमालिक ने?
देखिए, ये जो दोनों स्ट्रक्चर्स बने हैं इनकी अहमियत ये है कि जो मसले मसाइल पहले मीडिया के थ्रू या इनफरादी तौर पर बात होती थी वो अब स्ट्रक्चर्स के थ्रू बातचीत हो रही है। तो ये बड़े अहम हैं स्ट्रक्चर्स दोनों, और ये आने वाले जो दिन हैं वो बहुत चैलेंजिंग दिन है। अमेरिका जब निकलेगा तो अफगानिस्तान के अंदर जो सूरत हाल है वो सब जानते हैं, तो उसकी वजह से मेरा ख्याल है कि یہ سٹرکچرز امپورٹنٹ تھے اور آنے والے دنوں میں مسائل ضرور ہوں گے جاوید اور بہت ہوں گے، لیکن ہم امید کرتے ہیں کہ پاکستان افغانستان اگر اس کو ایک طریقے سے دیکھیں گے اور دے ول ریڈ فرام دا سیم پیج تو حالات بہتر ہوں گے۔ امریکہ کا جو اینگل ہے وہ اہم ہے، کیونکہ یہ یاد رکھیے کہ امریکہ وہ ملک ہے دنیا کا پاکستان کے علاوہ جو کہ افغانستان کے اوپر ٹوٹلی اثر اس کا بہت ہے۔ یہ کہ پالیسی ان کی فیل ہو گئی وہ اور بات ہے، لیکن ابھی بھی افواج ان کی فوجیں ہیں، اس لیے امپورٹنٹ ہے۔ اور اسی میں آپ دیکھیں ابھی جنرل شجاع پاشا بھی گئے ہیں امریکہ، وہ بھی ایک اہم ڈیولپمنٹ ہے، وہاں بھی بات چیت ہوگی۔ تو میرا خیال ہے آنے والے دنوں میں مشکلات ہوں گی، لیکن مشکلات کو اوور کم کرنے کے لیے پاکستان اور افغانستان دونوں حتی الامکان کوشش کریں گے۔
اچھا، اس میں ایک اہم بات جو ہم جاننا چاہیں گے آپ سے نسیم زہرا صاحبہ، کہ ہم نے دیکھا اب سب پوری دنیا کہتی ہے کہ حامد کرزئی صاحب کو امریکہ نے وہاں پر بٹھایا ہے، لیکن اب جو ہم نے دیکھا کہ جو عمر داؤدزئی صاحب نے پروگرام کے آخر میں کہا کہ جو غلطیاں ہوئیں کہ جی اتحادی افواج نے روایات کو نہیں دیکھا، چادر اور چار دیواری کو پامال کیا، پیسہ خرچا اور متوازی حکومت بنانے کی کوشش کی، یعنی اس قدر تنقید یہ کس طرف آپ کو لگ رہا ہے کہ کس سمت اشارہ کر رہا ہے؟
ہاں، تنقید یہ فرینڈلی فائر نہیں تھی، یہ جنون فائر تھی، صحیح کہہ رہے ہیں آپ۔ لیکن یہ آپ کو بتائیں کہ پریزیڈنٹ کارزئی ٹو بی فیئر ٹو ہم، جس دن یہ وہاں لینڈ کیے تھے جاوید، اس دن سے ان کی پہلی سٹیٹمنٹ بڑی انٹرسٹنگ تھی۔ انہوں نے کہا تھا کہ ہم گڈ اور بیڈ طالبان ہیں، ہم گڈ طالبان سے بات کریں گے۔ اس وقت سے امریکہ نے پھر ان کو کہا نہیں، طالبان سے آپ دور رہیے گا۔ تو پریزیڈنٹ کارزئی نے جو نیشنلسٹ کارڈ ہے نا اس کو کبھی بھی نہیں چھوڑا۔ جب بھی سویلینز مارے گئے اٹیک سے، ڈرون اٹیکس وہاں بھی ہوئے، ہر قسم کے اٹیک سے، تو تھرو آؤٹ پریزیڈنٹ کارزئی ایک لیول پر کرٹیسزم کرتے رہے ہیں۔ آج البتہ وہ کرٹیسزم اور کھل کے سامنے آ رہا ہے، کیونکہ اگلا جو اب سٹیج ہے، اگلی سٹیج ہے، اس میں تو جو پیٹریوٹک اور نیشنلسٹ ہوگا اس کو زیادہ تقویت ملے گی سیاسی طور پہ۔ تو میرا خیال ہے دس از واٹ ہی از ڈوئنگ۔
اچھا، لیکن اس سارے تناظر میں اگر آپ دیکھیں یہ جو پاکستان کی امداد روکنے والا جو اقدام ہے امریکہ کی طرف سے، اس کو آپ کس طرح سے دیکھ رہی ہیں نسیم زہرا صاحبہ؟ کیا یہ ایک اور دباؤ ڈالنے کی کوشش کی جا رہی ہے؟ کیا ہے یہ؟
دیکھیے، انہوں نے جو اناؤنس کیا پاز، یقیناً پاز کا مطلب فی الوقت روکیں گے، اور یہ آپ صحیح کہہ رہے ہیں کہ یہ ایک ان کو لگتا ہے کہ ان کے ہاتھ میں لیوریج ہے اور وہ لیوریج استعمال کر کے وہ پاکستان پر دباؤ ڈالنے کی کوشش کریں۔ لیکن جو اہم بات ہے وہ پاکستان کے حوالے سے دیکھ لیں جواب پاکستان کا کیا ہے۔ ایک طرف آپ کے آرمی چیف نے ابھی نہیں، انہوں نے 3 ہفتے پہلے کہہ دیا تھا کہ پاکستان کی فوج کا جہاں تک تعلق ہے، جو ملٹری ایڈ مل رہی ہے فوج کو وہ بھی آپ سویلینز کو دے دیں۔ اور آپ کے ڈیفنس منسٹر نے کیا کہا؟ آپ کے ڈیفنس منسٹر نے کہا کہ اگر یہ ایڈ بند کریں گے تو ہم اپنی فوج وہاں سے افغانستان سے ہٹا لیں گے۔ میرا خیال ہے یہ بہت ہی بچگانہ سٹیٹمنٹ تھی، بہت غلط سٹیٹمنٹ تھی۔ آپ فوج ہٹائیں گے، آپ اپنے بارڈر کو پروٹیکٹ کر رہے ہیں۔ آج اگر افغانستان سے اندر گروہ آ کے آپ پر اٹیک کر رہے ہیں تو ملک آپ کا اپنا ہے۔ میرا خیال ہے کہ ڈیفنس منسٹر صاحب کے پاس بریفنگ ٹھیک نہیں تھی۔
بہت بہت شکریہ، بہت بہت شکریہ محترمہ نسیم زہرا صاحبہ، آپ نے ہمیں اس پروگرام میں جوائن کیا۔ یہ تھا ہمارا آج کا پروگرام نیوز واچ سے جاوید اقبال کو اجازت دیجیے، اللہ حافظ۔